All right. Good evening, everybody. Appreciate everyone joining. So tonight's going to be a little live on site at Dancing Goat Distillery in good old Cambridge, Wisconsin. So I'm proud to be doing this stuff. So it's something that Jason and I have been wanting to do for a while. And this is, again, like we've always talked about, is bringing different, unique whiskeys to a lot of people that don't have the opportunity to be able to try, a lot of this stuff. So this is going to be, I think, with what we're tasting tonight, it's going to be very different and unique with some of the stuff that Nick's got going on. So it's really kind of cool and fun experience. And we'll let Nick kind of talk here in a little bit about some Dancing Goat stuff. But right now, let me go back and say hi to a few people that were in here early on. Roy, how's it going, bud? Steve, how's it going? Dave, how's it going? Adam, good to see you. Nate, good to see you. Top Dog, how's it going, brother? EJ, good to see you. Ben, Dunny, good to see you. Eric, good to see you. All right, if I didn't get you, Matt, good to see you. If I didn't get you, hang with us. Brandon, good to see you. So yeah, we'll get in. We've got some really fun things to try tonight. I think we've got 5/6 things to try. So we've got 5. Here we go. It's like being at home with my dad. Never has his damn phone turned off.
You got a problem?
Well, anyway, so should be fun. Should be a fun night tonight. So 6 samples. We've got some different things. Again, I'll let Nick kind of talk a little bit about it. But let me introduce a few people that are helping tonight. So to my left, your right, we got Boomer. So everybody's probably seen. We got Josh, or DWYD. Did I get that right?
That is correct.
So check him out on Instagram. If you're a cigar guy, he's your guy. Fred Swanson right here. He's a little off. Oh, no. All right, Fred, are you on? Nope, there he is. There's Fred. Nick's coming in here in a second. So Nick is the head distiller here at Dancing Goat.
Let's have cigars, baby.
Yeah. we'll let Nick kind of share a little info here shortly about some of that stuff. And then we will dive into kind of the tasting for tonight. So we've got, again, some really, really fun things. So do you want to kind of tell everybody a little bit about Dancing Goat right now before we get into some of the whiskeys? And
yeah.
You want to hop over here?
Sure.
All right, I'll let the man in here for a second. So we'll let him share a little bit about Dancing Goat and kind of what we're doing tonight. So cool. Take it away, superstar.
I'll be quick and brief. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for having us. Thank you guys for setting this up.
Absolutely.
And what an opportunity for us to get to meet people we've never met before and some people that we have. We're here in Cambridge, Wisconsin. It's the country of Madison, if that makes sense. We're about a third of the way from Madison to back to Milwaukee, out here in the southeast corner of Dane County. We cook Wisconsin grains here 3 days a week. We run about 3 ferments a week here. We're doing about 4,500 gallon ferments right now. We're working our way up to 6,000 gallon ferments. We just had a new equipment set that was put online. It's an 18-inch Vendome still with a doubler. So that's what we're focused on right now. We also have another column on site that we're going to get back online here in 23. Then we have 2 more pot stills. We have a gin pot still, and we have a small little 240 gallon pot still. So what we really want to do is create whiskey that's versatile and is unique. We want to blend things off the pot with the column. We want to look at distillates off the column alone, the pot alone. Our big thing is making a lot of really strong commitments to whiskey. We like whiskey with usually 3 grains in it. We like high proportions of one of those grains. We really love to make our 49% malted bourbon. We like to make our 44% rye bourbon. We make a 29% rye bourbon as well that we are looking to start sharing with some other distilleries too. And so we're hoping to get to know the whiskey world as a large producer of craft whiskey in Wisconsin and a large blender of aged source stock. And so thank you guys so much for giving us the opportunity to have some fun here today with
Absolutely.
y'all. This is our Spirits Vault at the Goat. And it's a great place if you're ever looking for, tastings, cocktail lessons, single barrel picks, anything like that. We can host you here. So thank you guys so much.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. So there you can see it. So there's a lot of really cool things going on. And I know when I kind of reached out before to see about setting things up, I had talked to Fred initially and kind of got the ball rolling. And here we are. So really excited to finally be, doing a barrel pick with Dancing Goat. So without further ado, I guess, why don't we kind of dive into what we've got? Did you want to say anything, Fred, at all? Or
no, just welcome to everybody. We're super excited that y'all are here.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
It's exciting and honored, to be honest. I'm excited and honored. Absolutely.
Well, thanks for having us. And it was kind of nice to be able to do this one kind of like live. It's a little more obviously more personable, and we can all stuff our faces behind cameras. We did that long enough. Time to finally get out and do some stuff. So yeah, exactly.
Get that right, boom.
Yes, sir.
Jason, you got anything you want to share quick before we kind of dive into things?
No, man, it's good to see all you guys hanging out in Wisconsin and getting together. I love when big groups of guys get together and drink the whiskey and help us pick these amazing barrels. I haven't really had much from Dancing Goat as well, so this is going to be a learning experience for me as well as a tasting experience, because I haven't. The only thing I've ever had is the Limousine Rye, so I'm really interested to try some of these and go from there and pick some great barrels for the group. So appreciate everyone. Appreciate everyone for helping out, and thanks to Dancing Goat for putting this together for us.
It's gonna be some fun stuff. So we're looking forward to it. So all right, why don't we dive into we'll dive into sample number 1, which is
6958.
So this is 6958. We'll see. I don't know if Murphy's on here. He's got looks like some issues right now, but all right. So 6958, 21% rye bourbon, 7 years. So when we get into bottling, I think it's just under 7 right now, but it will be by the time it's bottled.
It'll be by the time it'll hit.
Yeah.
So this is a bourbon. You were breaking up a little bit, Hawk. What'd you say? This is a bourbon. That's what?
Yeah. So this is. Do you want to?
Yeah, I absolutely. So this is a really interesting cask. This is 21% rye bourbon from Indiana. Everyone's favorite distillery, MGP, especially mine. In really interesting period, 2014, 2015, MGP was having a lot of trouble getting barrels, and so this bourbon specifically is actually aged in Andean oak. It's Colombian oak, Columbia like the country, not Columbia, Missouri, like where ISC sources most of its oak. It's the species itself is interesting. I would absolutely guarantee that everyone on this call has only ever exclusively had bourbon aged in Quercus alba, American white oak, because there's very few bourbons that are sold aged in anything else. This is one of them. There's a lot of this in existence. We have a lot of it. And there's a couple people that have a little bit of it outside of us. We have a majority of the collection. So there's a little over 1,000 barrels of this floating around, the MGP stock. The chars are interesting. Again, the species is Quercus humboldti. That is the actual, that's Colombian oak or Andean oak. And so these get a little bit of an interesting funk to it from the barrel itself. Yeah. It can be good. It can be bad. In this case, it was good. Where we see fruit, or in my opinion, it's good. When we see that funk, we end up usually with a good amount of fruit forward notes in the distillate. Yeah. And then you still get the traditional pop of caramel. There's a little bit of acidity on all of these altogether, all of these Indian oaks, but there's only one that we'll try today. So yeah,
it is very fruit forward. It's like that orchard fruit. There's some really nice kind of orchard fruits on this one. So
it's a little sour,
I can see a little bit.
Yeah, I got like sour apple like immediately, just really nice.
Yeah, that's definitely there. That's definitely on this one. So
you get a little floral notes.
Yeah, we tend to do that with the funk when we have basically 2 big buckets that these barrels come out in. Okay. We have 3 big buckets. There's funk to the point where it's almost like a dead body, which is not good. And no, we're not tasting that today. There's funk where we pop a lot of floral notes, those orchard fruits, the tart notes, and then we have just straight traditional bourbon. Like you'd expect from the 21 Rye. And then some of those skew more towards the cherry or just robust caramel and vanilla. But they are all kind of off. Are these 53-gallon barrels? It's awful.
Say that again, Jason.
Are these 53-gallon barrels?
Yes.
Yep, 53s.
Okay.
Yep.
Man, this is getting fruitier. This is getting more fruity the more it opens up, man. This is nice.
Yeah, definitely fruit forward.
Oh, wow.
Crazy, right?
Nice.
Great stone fruit.
Yeah.
The different nose.
Yeah, it's very rich. There's a nice sweetness to it. Boy, that's very different.
Yeah, it is.
It's very like well rounded. There's like a really nice balance to it.
It's a good long finish.
Nice spice to it.
Yep.
Good finish.
Slight sweetness, what I get.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
They're made by FMX, which is a large producer of alcohol, commodity alcohol in Mexico and Brazil, and they make a lot of Bacardi. And so these barrels are actually like Bacardi barrels.
Really?
Yeah. They say from the same supplier.
Yeah.
But when you look at the barrels themselves, they almost look like they're hand chiseled. Like it's just, you look at them, you just look at them, you're like, that just doesn't look right. You know, 'cause you're so used to these beautiful casts from ISC. And you look at these things like, man, what's that wedge like chunk out of this thing?
Yeah, that's
And
interesting.
they tend to leak heavily,
Oh.
which is kind of what creates a lot of that really weird, those weird funks. You know, you provide a large cavity of air.
Yeah.
And once you have an opening to that barrel, you have places for things to come in.
Interesting.
Like the Ricketts does. So,
Yeah. There is definitely that funkiness. There's a nice floral aspect to it as well.
Absolutely.
You know, like maybe like even a honey note or something that's there. Are you getting any of that stuff, Jace?
I'm getting honey, but I'm getting like caramel coated apple cinnamon, like hard, like really, really strong.
A little butterscotch.
I mean, maybe slightly, but that like apple, pear, cinnamon flavor is
Yeah, lots of that orchard fruit.
it's
So.
really nice.
Cinnamon spice.
The really fun thing about these two is they tend to be, the bouquets tend to be full and varied and they're delicate. And so like you search for things, you find them. It's not just robust in your face, you know, vanilla, caramel, and a little cherry. It's there's you can search it like an islet or like a single malt. It's a lot of fun.
It's got a nice rounded.
That's good.
It's
It's very good.
Notes the rye punches through, but it's got kind of that American single malt profile and the fact
Good
that we're
call.
following funk.
Yeah.
Good call. Yeah.
So
that-
it's like you
see
just
that.
braided
Good analogy.
3 animals together to get to
Cool. It's a funky
Good analogy.
mofo.
Yeah, that probably, it's definitely very, very funky. I don't know if right away, if you told someone this was a bourbon, I don't know if they would be able to tell
Most
that.
people, I don't think, and I think a lot of the inventory people wouldn't.
Or if they did, it tastes like there's a finish on it.
Mhm.
Like there's like you're
You get
searching
a lot
for a
of that.
finish.
You get a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
can see that.
What was this finished in?
I'm pulling right out of the nose.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, that's
And I've
nice.
been sniffing at it for a while.
It gives me like the Amburana vibes a little bit.
We got an exorcist on retainer, right?
I don't know. You're kind of coming through like a little choppy once in a while. I don't know if that's on our end or on your end or not, but do you think you can like jump out and come back in real quick and just see if that changes anything?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay. It might just be like a little bit of feedback or something because I'm looking, we're not jittery or anything. So
This one's probably somewhere between 104 and 109.
oh really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, see, that's in my wheelhouse. I love that.
I think it drinks below that though.
Yeah.
It's
I think
I don't get that alcohol.
No, you don't.
Right.
get
So you don't get that.
You get the
It's a good-
spice from the
it's a very
cinnamon.
balanced-
Yeah.
Yeah, I get a lot of that cash on the backside. The sweetness and the lingers sticks with the finish, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one bourbon that we have to try.
Yeah.
and
This
that's
is good.
And that is Andino bourbon. So it's still a straight bourbon, 100%. Like the actual standard identity is a new charred oak container. It's not actually new charred white oak, American oak.
Okay.
A lot of people just add that. So it's still a straight bourbon.
I mean, I don't mean to get in the color aspects of things. What's the color on that Indian oak? Is it a white type of oak?
The oak is actually lighter than Quercus alba. Yeah, I can show you if you want before when we're walking out. We can show you the barrels and stuff. Like I said, they are regular in every way. You would walk past it and go, that's in a regular color. You go, that's in a regular shape, and it looks like somebody made that with their bare hands. You know, it looks like it's leaked. They're irregular.
Is it
They
almost,
never should have made whiskey barrels out of this wood, but at least some of it tastes close.
That's interesting. Like why they would. I wonder if it was something that they just had access to.
That's the only,
You know.
only thing they had.
can you
access to.
say it's almost like a young wood, a young oak?
It's definitely no. These are the oak is definitely.
But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
out of the profile, it's
I would
kind of
say-
like really
I
different.
would say the barrel makers are young in their experience because a lot of the
All right, Scott, we good to go, man?
they're aging in 70-gallon casks.
Yeah, I can hear you. You sound all right.
It's a different.
All right.
Different.
Exactly. Okay.
There's a couple Thanks, right?
Yeah.
All right, it could be on my end too. So if it is, then I apologize. So
396.
all right, so we're gonna move on to the second one. So this is gonna be the Limousine Rye. So this is kind of where some of the magic happens with what they do. So again, I'll let Nick kind of share a little bit about what the limo rye and stuff is.
So Limousine Rye is a whiskey from a rye mash. Is what we make. That's the actual spirit designation. So what that means is not a straight rye. We don't age exclusively in new casks. We age exclusively in used casks, and so that's why it's whiskey from a rye mash. It being whiskey from a rye mash gives us a lot of freedom and flexibility in our labeling. And so anything that we want to put in a package, if it was aged in new or used oak, and if it was finished in used oak, it doesn't matter what it was. We don't have to change your label. So you'll see underneath our Limousine Rye label, you'll see port finishes that don't have, straight rye finished in port. You'll see wine finishes. You'll see brandy finishes. So these in particular, the next two, we're about to try 6396. This is a Limousine Rye. It's about 7.75 years old. It's almost 8 years old. We began finishing it on 8/20 of 2021. In a very interesting cask. It's an ISC, so it's an International Stave Co. barrel, new barrel, French oak. It has charred body staves, but the heads are only toasted, medium plus toast. The body staves, the bilge staves themselves also have a medium plus toast on them as well. So it's not a true toasted barrel in the sense that there are charred staves, but it is a very specific toasted wood. And then also it is the French oak. This thing is probably going to be coming in somewhere between 108 and 112.
Wow, this
Yeah,
one's
that's very interesting.
This one's like musky. It has like a sandalwood candle vibe to it.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, it does. It's very different. It's very different and unique. That's for sure.
Like sandalwood, leather.
Yeah, that kind of sandalwood is a good call because it's a little bit on kind of like that earthy side of things.
Yep.
Oh man, there's something else that's there. Maybe it's like leather or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like an oil rubbed saddle or something like that.
Yeah.
You say sandalwood?
What's
Yeah.
the right is?
Yeah.
It almost has like an incense.
95.
Yeah, there's a little bit of, like Josh said, like a little bit of like an incense kind of nose.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, that's really. I don't think I've ever smelled or had a whiskey like this. That's crazy.
No, it's very, very, very different. That's for sure. Yeah, very like aromatic.
So one of the reasons that we don't use, me and my dad are very particular, and we don't like straight ryes. My grandfather was in the industry since he got out of the Korean War, and he would occasionally take used bourbon barrels home, and we'd fill them with dry whiskey. So that's kind of where our tradition of like taking rye and aging it in used barrels came from. Then we found, and that's not something that we came up with. Seagram 7 had multiple high rye distillates in used coopers. That's the Canadian style of making rye. And remember, my family being from Shawano and then with our roots over in Michigan, we're essentially in Canada, or we were for a long time. So we love our Canadian ryes. We think that, it's not about using a barrel that's 60 years old or 40 years old. It's about using a barrel that's 4 years old that's been used once, or 2 years old that's used once. And so what we really love to do is allow bourbon to take our green tannins and then use those barrels to finish. And so Limousine Rye itself, it's kind of a convoluted product to explain to people. And so what we really come down to is it's a double barrel cast finish whiskey from a rye mash. And the reason that we do that is we want to be very particular about the layers of tannin we add on top. We don't just want to put it in one barrel and have it whatever comes out. We want to put it in a barrel that's going to be predictable and approachable coming out, and then we can layer more on in a very specific, targeted, and strategic way.
Yeah, it's got a great spice to it. And it's funny that you said the like kind of Canadian rye. It reminds me a lot of that. Like that profile reminds me a lot of that. Are you getting a little bit of that, Jason?
Yeah, I could see that. This is gonna sound really weird. You know what it smells like when you buy a new pair of shoes and you open the box?
I'm getting citrus in
It's
this.
fucking awesome. So a lot of our inventory, so we don't, being a whiskey from a rye mash, we don't activate phenols in the same way as a straight rye does. And so pretty much everyone buying the same, so this is 95 rye from MGP, but doesn't taste anything like it. And the reason for that is when you use a brand new barrel, you activate a lot more phenol, specifically guaiacol R34. So guaiacol R34 is going to be that really stereotypical black pepper on the tongue.
There's a lot of that.
And we get a muted sense of that, but it doesn't dominate the profile because the phenols are weaker, which allows a lot of the other more subtle notes to pop.
This is sweet.
It's awesome, isn't it? So a lot of our base notes end up coming out what we call cola. And so cola being a mixture of like lemon and caramel. So the citrus note we get
Like a fizzy cola.
Yep, absolutely, like a bottle cap.
That's right.
Yeah.
Trying to get-
So you'll get that kind of that's kind of the common theme that'll pop up is a little that light citrus with some of the vanilla. And the vanilla is all coming. It's not coming from our primary aging vessels. The vanilla all comes from our Limousine Oak.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why we use it. It stays part that vanilla and layers, and then we finish from there.
This is great.
I love this barrel. I'm glad that you guys.
It really is nice.
Oh, wow.
It's a nice full flavor.
Yeah, very very layered,
There's
which is
so
nice.
much in there.
It's got like a richness to it. There's like
Yeah.
not exactly savory, but like a nutty, almost richness or fatty richness. Coats the palate,
Yeah.
hangs out,
Yeah.
lets you know you're doing your job. You know, I mean, this is a great.
And it's not.
This is
It's not
cigar
as,
whiskey.
it's
Yeah,
not
it
as
is.
peppery.
And that's that's what we're looking for is to reduce that pepper and let the other lower phenols kind of sing a chorus. You know.
It has pepper, but it's like a muted.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's like just a little bit of white pepper. You know,
Yeah.
it's like just a little sprinkle of.
Get some clove in here too.
Yeah, a little bit of clove.
Yeah,
The bacon slices tend to take, for being this one literally being almost an 8-year-old MGP rye,
Mhm.
it drinks way more like a bourbon, and that's what we see through our whole inventories. All of our ryes
crazy
drink more like a
good.
bourbon.
Drinks like a hard rock.
This is a
Interesting.
good one.
What do you
Scott picked some great ones for you, so you got a couple more coming.
I already did the pre-work. This is already I came up here and did all the pre-work.
You seem like you got to do that.
Yeah. Got it.
We and
Not all superheroes wear capes, right?
That's right.
How it goes. Hey, what are you getting on your end? Are you getting a little bit of that black pepper kind of on the finish too? Yeah, actually more white pepper. I think it's
Hey, Jason,
Yeah,
you
what's up,
getting any
Boom?
fondant in this?
Getting what?
Fondant?
A fondant?
Yeah.
No, it's I'm getting fondant.
Stuff on the cake.
All right,
like
marzipan. All right,
The
marzipan.
nasty part of the cake.
Yeah, it's like a wedding cake frosting.
Yeah.
That looks like it's all on one
This
show.
is good.
No, but this is such a unique rye. It's got
simple syrup on steroids. It is boiling water holding 14 times its weight in sugar.
really
Boiling water can hold up to 19 times its weight in sugar.
This is great.
You can come by whenever.
so what do you think of this
In
one?
the store?
What?
Is this
it's the most interesting. It's the most interesting rye I've tasted in a long time.
Yeah, it's definitely very interesting. All right, so I think we'll move on to number 3. We're gonna move on to some really. Oh no, we got one more limo. We got one more limo
We
right
have two
now.
more
So.
limos.
Oh, we have 2 more.
Two
Okay.
more limos, yeah. So we'll have another one of these toasted. So these two, I like to call them, sisters, brothers, but it's 6396 and 6397. And so 97 is going to be the exact same profile barrel. It's going to be that ISC, that International Stave Coast. So that is that company from Missouri, Columbia. They make almost all of the barrels for for what we would call Heritage Big Kentucky. The new players tend to skew towards West Virginia Great Barrel Company, which we've started to do as well. It's ISC Cooperage French Oak with the medium plus toasted heads. The bilge staves also have the medium plus toast, but they have the char on there, and it's a lighter char. I think it's a 2-ton.
All right, so it'll be interesting to see the second one we had. Where's the second one that we had? I want to pour a little bit more of the second one that we just had.
9.6 would be this.
Yeah, all right, I'm gonna try to put a little more. I want that compared to the new one we're about ready to taste.
Yeah, this rye is really interesting. I'm getting so many different notes are opening up when I go back to it.
9.6. There's that second one. 9.7.
All right, so you're on 9.7.
Couldn't be more different.
I'm nosing 9.7.
Okay. Yeah, you can see that's like that wood influence is really strong on
It's
these.
there. Yeah, it is
Nine-
there.
Yeah,
But these have been sitting since 8/20 of 21.
It's
really.
basically
Nine.
the same wood, right?
It is the exact same barrel. All of the specs in the barrel are the exact same, except it's just the next one in line. That barrel, because the way that we ordered, we didn't have a lot of those, and so these barrels literally would have been made one after the other. And the whiskey going into it would have came out of the Solera one after the other. And that's the beautiful thing about whiskeys. Every single one, even if the wood came from the same tree and the whiskey came from the same lot, I mean, everyone's a miracle.
Yeah.
Can I get that?
It's not as sweet on the nose.
And it's much redder too. Like even in the bottle, it just has a redness to it.
Yeah, it really is. It's a beautiful color on that.
This one I get way more French oak influence on it. It's a little bit sweeter on the palate. It's not as musky and sandalwood as 6396 is. I'm really liking 97 a lot so far.
Yeah, like this seems like it's, for me, it's like more of the barrel influence on this one, which I'm kind of liking.
Yeah, I'm digging the French oak influence on this.
More char influence.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice color on that too.
You get that in the palate too.
Yeah, again, I'm still getting that floral aspect to it. You know, it's like as soon as every time I feel I smell like floral, like I just always default to like Four Roses. I mean, it just, not that it's that, it's just always in my mind, that softness, but like delicate, but really well balanced.
And not to like stir the pot here, but it is, when you start looking at Big Kentucky and you start looking at Lawrenceburg, it is very common for people to catch up on production with each other. For MGP to catch other people up, which we know many barrel groups get really pissed about, right? And then, but more specifically for Kentucky to catch up MGP as well. Very less often, according to some of our people that work there that we deal with, but. It would not shock me if MGP had made some Four Roses juice at some point in time. I'm not saying a ton of it. I'm not saying they made all of it. I'm definitely not saying MGP.
Yeah.
But it would not surprise me because I mean we know from people in here like really angry. We know that Barton's done it. We know that other people in Bardstown have done it, and people pissed about it. But I wouldn't be that pissed. I was like, there was like the MGP, making a Kentucky Nashville, and then bottle and barrel it and then send it down there. I mean, that's terroir you can buy.
Yeah. Because what is the whole thing for them to or for them to call it Kentucky? What is it? 1 year and 1 day?
I think it's 1 year and 1 day age.
Yeah.
That probably will change. I imagine it. Probably. But the only reason that exists, right, is because of this. When you talk about the Cincy metro area, like where New Riff is at, they are Kentucky. I mean, they're across the river from each other. They the only difference is what side of the river you wanted to be on because of the tides, like where the winds are blowing. And the reason that MGP sits exactly where it sits because of the wind off of the lake, off the river. That's the exact reason it sits exactly where it is.
Interesting. How are you liking this one versus the second one?
I like this one way more than the second one. This is like more, it's more layered. The French oak is there. It's not as musky as the other one, and it's got like that really beautiful like finish.
Yeah, it's got that, and for me, it's like a little more heavier fruit, like in the darker fruits a little bit for me, kind of on some of this. Yeah. Maybe that's more of the barrel influence that's coming out too.
Yeah, I could really taste the French oak in this one. Nice.
From that,
Yeah, the French oak influence is awesome in this one.
Yeah, that wood influence on this one is crazy. So
Scott loves the wood.
What I like to say, this is like my daughters. My daughters, one is 19 months old and the other one is 8 weeks old. Yeah. And one slept all the time, the other one ain't sleeping for shit. Yeah. One ate everything we tried to put in his mouth, the other one won't eat shit. You can have two things right next to each other. Born close as hell.
I got daughters and granddaughters. Good luck, my friend.
Appreciate it. Hey, I knew you were good.
Good luck, yeah. Good luck with that.
We're all sisters. Remember that.
I get tons of that citrus. I get little whiff of tobacco.
Yeah. It's just for me, like even more like orange zest. It's not like heavy orange. It's a little bit more of just a touch of the rind or something like that.
Somebody say liqueur.
Liqueur. Yeah, maybe like an orange liqueur.
Yeah, it was at Grand Marnier.
Oh, that's what I was
He
trying
worked on
to
that one
think
too.
of.
That's at Grand Marnier from the 60s.
That's what I was trying to
My
think
grandpa.
of.
Nice.
Grandpa worked, so that was off the first bottling they did after he fixed their bottling line.
Really?
A lot of history in this room. It's a cool room.
Yeah, a lot of history. Yeah, you guys didn't get all the full story of what we heard before. So a lot of good stuff. So
just another tater talking bullshit.
Yeah.
And to be complete truth, I am a tater.
It's true. I'm a tater, yeah.
I am a
Oh
tater.
yeah. We got a tater, everyone. We got a tater. We got a tater.
This one I'm excited.
Oh man, this is nice. Yeah, it's rich and dark and like leathery tobacco.
It's the first time, and now it doesn't exist after my first nosing of it. The first time I put down brine, there was a salinity and a brininess to that first nose, and it's gone now. As soon as it oxygenated, it went away.
Makes a difference.
To me, I got that nougat, that caramely nuttiness underneath that fruitiness.
Yeah.
Okay, kind of the citrus and then some nougat.
Like
Yep.
a flat cola.
Yep.
Love that.
Like a flat cola.
I love.
Yeah.
It's like a bottle cap.
Yeah,
like
Bottle cap
syrupy
candy,
or
yeah.
something. But yeah, I guess that's the other thing we haven't even talked about. Like it's kind of like the mouthfeel. I mean, it's oily, it's viscous.
Good, and both of them are very. I think the French oak has a very specific tendency for viscosity.
Yeah.
The French oaks linger. They got long legs. They stick around. The funny thing about what we see is we're always told by consumers, you don't proof this down. This has to be, the highest proof you can. But our kind of method in production is proofing down in the cask over a very long time. It can be months to get something to where we want it. And what we end up doing is we build viscosity because we actually, we stay in the barrel longer. One, we're not just diluting a tank, but then two, we're getting higher and higher up in the barrel every time we water. So we're pulling more and more, as we dilute, we're pulling more tannins and more tannins. And so one of the things that we see with our finishes is our true cask strengths often finish, and we lengthen them by proofing them down over time. And as long as we go slowly, we tend to add those layers of tannin that just stick with you and create these really pleasant experiences.
Yeah, it's nice. Now we're gonna get into crazy stuff.
This is kind of me in a nutshell.
This is crazy. So like if you could have a sip of Nick, this is what he would taste like.
100%.
I mean, probably after you took a shower. So this will be a little cleaner. This will be the cleaner version, but that's okay.
Are you gonna call
Yeah. Yeah. A little sip of Nick. All right, what do you think of this, Chase? Have you gotten into 8300 yet?
Spearmint gum.
No, we nosing this one now.
All right, this is 8300 we're on now.
So this is still a Limousine Rye. Obviously, this is not a standard Limousine Rye. This one's about 7 years old. Does anyone want to take a little guess before I give the finishing barrel on this one?
Kind of barrel.
Yeah, what kind of barrel we finish in?
It smells like an old fashioned in the glass.
Oh, he said old fashioned in glass. Yeah, that's a very good
It's
call.
a very educated guess.
When you hear what it is, you'll appreciate that response. Boomer, what do you got? What do you think? What do you think this is?
Barrel.
Yeah, what do you think the finish is on this? What would
the
your
type
guess
of
be?
barrel we finish in.
Whiskey.
No, incorrect. It's not a whiskey barrel.
No, it's not a whiskey barrel.
Close. But no cigar.
Hey, I'm not a well-rounded guy.
Yeah, you are, Boomer. Don't
Yeah.
you be lying in here. We talked about lying earlier.
Jason, what do you? So okay, what kind of barrel do you think this is? What do you think it was finished in, or what the finish is?
I don't know. Is it one of those, old fashioned cocktail barrels, and then they threw the whiskey in it to finish it out?
Pretty close.
You're very close.
Pretty
yeah.
close.
So this is an orange bitters barrel.
Oh.
Oh, that makes
orange
sense.
bitters barrel that we finished 7-year-old 95 rye from MGP.
All right, so it's a Woodford barrel that was orange bitters, right? Orange bitters Woodford barrel.
Woodford barrel that held orange bitters.
Yeah, this was when I nosed this, and when I came up here last time to taste, this was where I was like thinking, like, this is fall in a glass. Like, if you could have the candle of this,
So
you'd burn the hell out of this.
yeah, you burn the hell out of it.
So
All
right.
Jeez.
It's a bottled cocktail. Is what it is.
They'll keep changing.
It's an RTD.
First.
Oh, man.
that is-
RTD.
yeah, it's a bottle.
First glass I got when I
It's just a bottled cocktail is almost what it is.
That's basically what it tastes like. Just like just give me some ice. That's it.
Old school.
Yeah.
The zebra strip.
So they the way they make the orange bitters is they take their aromatic and add orange to it.
Yeah, I guess let's do that. So let's kind of, because I think this is new to a lot of people. I don't think many people have had a whiskey that's been finished in a bitters barrel.
Never heard
So
of.
if you can just kind of share a little bit about what that process is, or just, what that finishing aspect is.
Absolutely. So Woodford Reserve is a very popular whiskey, obviously, and usually not for us taters, but Woodford has a really popular line of bitters. They have a chocolate. We've used the chocolate. They have a cherry. You may see the cherry come up later. They have an orange, and then they also have an aromatic. And so we've been doing a little bit of detective work on our barrels that we have here. And it would appear that the recipe for the Woodford aromatic bitters is all the same. It all starts with the aromatic, and then when they make the chocolate, they just add X amount of gallons of of chocolate distillate to it. If it's the orange, they add some orange. It's not distillate; it's alcohol that they've steeped orange peels in, or it's alcohol they've steeped cocoa nibs in. But all of them start with the same base aromatic bitters blend. The way that you make bitters, people would automatically assume, like, when you say, like, I'm finishing in a chocolate bitters barrel, like that it's going to taste bitters. But you don't, that's not how you actually produce bitters. So bitters are produced by taking an aromatic component, which is the barrel that we finished in. Mm-hmm. So every component that was in there, there's no bitter component for the palate. It's all the aromatics for the nose. And then, so what they would probably do is they would take one barrel, and these are all 53-gallon barrels. They take one barrel and age the bitter components in it. And then they'd have, let's say, probably in their lot, they probably have 4 oranges, two cherries, 1 vanilla, and 1 chocolate. And that one bitters barrel would be the bitter component for all of them. And so the only thing that we end up with is the actual aromatic proportion, which is to our benefit. The orange itself complements rye. A lot of there's ryes that do have stellar orange notes to it. I think our 15J1 is a really good example of that. But the spice of clove, in many traditional candies throughout Europe and into the Americas, and even into Africa and Asia. Traditionally, people have made desserts from clove and orange for thousands of years in multiple cultures. So it was an easy one for us to it was a no-brainer for us. There's some of us were a little apprehensive at my real large excitement to start just throwing whiskey into these barrels, but we've really found what we believe is a true home run with some of these.
It's an interesting thing. I mean, I had not had anything when I came up here before, and Sean was kind of going through, and we were going through with some stuff with Nick with what that finish was. I had never had anything. I mean, other than like where they said this is like a cocktail, kind of thing or something. But to have this was very different and unique for me. So it was really, really cool.
What I love best about it is we're only using the aromatic portions. And so that's really what we're altering, is we're altering the aromatic portion. You'll be suggested orange from the palate and you may taste it, but it's not like we're adding orange flavoring to these.
Yeah.
And so on a lot of these finishes, it's still a whiskey. Like this barrel is somewhere between 106, 110 proof. Yeah. It's still cask strength whiskey. Yeah. Like it's not something that we bottled at 80 proof and added a bunch of sugar to. I mean, there's no sugar added to this. It's just beautiful. It's a really beautiful.
For me, I like this in like fall, winter. Like this has this time of year for like colder weather. I mean, fall, that kind of stuff. For me, this is a nice whiskey for that.
Absolutely.
It's nice that it's not also overly sweet. Like you get it early on, but then the backbone of the whiskey is still there, which is really nice.
The question would be, how would this be with a bourbon? Would you get too much sweetness?
Oh yeah. See, I think
the rye takes that balance and gives it that complexity that knocks all that sweetness down a little bit.
Yeah.
To make it even more interesting.
And approachable.
Again.
Yeah.
What everybody says about us, we get ticked or celebrated on balance.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, and oftentimes, when you've got sweet on sweet, then it becomes too much. Especially when you've got like a super sweet on sweet, which this would be, even though bitters is not that, but the orange part of it really shines.
Super sweet,
yeah.
And
I think it
doesn't come off like a liqueur at all.
No.
It's still a whiskey, and it's still, if you understand limo and you really find that limo in the back of it, that 95 that we produce, you can still get house.
95.
And I like that this is different. It's not something that many people are going to have access to. It's always something different, and that's part of always what we want to try to do, is kind of push the envelope with different fun things, and this is kind of in that category. That's for sure. What do you think, Jace?
I don't know. I can't make up my mind on this. It's weird. It's really unique. I like that it's rye forward. It's not overly sweet, but man, that orange bitter note comes through. But it's good.
It's like an orange. It's like an orange. Yeah.
All right, let's pour. Let's go on to 335 or let's go on to 3356. Let's move on to. So this will be a little bit different. So all right, we'll move on now to 3356. We're gonna come off of the orange bitters and we're gonna go to something different now. So.
Yeah, so we're gonna leave limbo 2. So we're going to our American corn inventory. So this is 100% corn. The 100% corn inventory that we have is really, really interesting. It's just about, I mean, it's going to be 9 years old in May. And frankly, the age isn't the interesting thing. The interesting thing is no one knows why it exists. So when we talk to MGP, if you are a big MGP chaser, which I'm a big MGP chaser, I have never seen anyone ever with 100% corn whiskey for MGP. The only thing that they have, and people say 100 corn, but it's all 99.1. When you look at it, it's all 99.1 corn, 0.9 malted barley. And that's their standard mash bill for everything. I mean, that's what they put into a very large brand for someone in Bardstown. That's what the mellow corn mash bill is. It's all made in Lawrenceburg, right?
Yeah.
And so looking at this, it's incredibly irregular that any of it exists at all, 100 corn. And talking to our contacts at MGP, specifically Sam, I don't know if you guys know who Sam is, but Sam is an alcohol application scientist. He's basically a master blender over there. He's one of the blenders over there. And he's looked over our inventory and he can't really understand why we have some things we do either. We just have a lot of odds and ends things. It might have been a test. It might have been a custom run. But these 100 corns, they all come off weak, all of them. They all lack tannin because, I mean, the barrel's probably a second, third, or fourth use barrel, 9 years in a second, third, fourth use barrel. That barrel could have been used for 20, 25, 30 years by that point in time. There's not a lot of tannin to it. With great vanilla cream notes, but just begging to be finished. As aggressively as you can get tannin into it, it's begging to be finished. And so the first one that we have 2 here. And as I said, both these will be 9 in May. The first one is a kind of what something we're coming kind of famous for, but it's a cherry finished corn. We've done them as a KWS, like a brandy finish before, but now we've heavily committed to this kind of spiced cherry bitters finish. So this is 3356. These are sitting considerably higher. These are probably closer to 115 to 120 in that range. Like I said, about 8 3/4 years old, 8.5 years old. This is our heart sent to you. This is who we are.
Yeah, all right.
That's what I will say.
All right, so we're approaching 9 year 100% corn whiskey finished in cherry bitters barrels. So this will be very, very interesting. So have you gotten into the nose yet, Jace?
Oh yeah, it smells like cherry bitters.
Yeah, it smells like cherry bitters. Let's try this one out.
So when you say spiced cherry bitters, what spice are we looking at?
Vanilla most. So it's again the Woodford Double Oak it's all going to start with the aromatic blend for them, and so their aromatic blend is probably a carbon copy repeat of Zalem's Angostura ripoff online. And so if you look for that, that's probably the base star of it. Gentian and allspice are the clear, and clove are the clear predominant flavoring of their aromatic. And so those are going to be the driving force behind this. In this one specifically, they seem to add a cherry bark, which would not be in this because that'd be the bitter component, but then also physical cherry juice, cherry skin, macerated, vanilla, and then a little bit of clove extra on top.
Yeah, I definitely get the clove. Makes sense. Definitely get the clove.
Thank you, Boondog.
Say that again.
I can definitely get the clove. The clove is definitely present.
Yeah, definitely some clove. Yeah, I think it's nice without it being like overly, it's not like overly cherry, like it's there, but
Like a Twizzler.
yeah.
It's got to be a Twizzler.
That's the first part. Yeah. It's bang right at the nose.
You got some pot, Boom? You holding on to me? Been hanging out my pickup truck, Boom.
See, like I think I like the
Is that your
subtle.
I'll smoke about
Was
these.
he 71?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the one.
I like the subtleness of this a little bit. Like orange, sometimes there's other brands that have done those things. And it's such a bold thing, and cherry can be too. But this is a little bit more muted. It's not so cherry. What do you
more
think?
Spice than just cherry.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just gonna say that.
Cherry Pez.
On the breath, I get the net. You said that.
There's
on
a
the breath.
chalkiness.
You motherfucker. On
There's
the
a
breath now, I
chalkiness.
do get that.
Pez.
And it won't go away.
Mine
There's a
reminds me
chunky-
more of like a tea
Mm.
type of feel.
Sure.
You know.
Well, you get
Yeah, 'cause
there's
they're
a
great
point.
spice.
There's a point in the very finish of the swallow
Yes.
where you get that tea component that might come from black, but also you get juicy, almost like there was obviously cherry juice in here as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and this is nothing added.
Yeah.
This is just the finish. This is just the finishing barrel. Just the finishing barrel. So there's nothing that's added to this. So all
And this is not. These were not finished nearly as long as the other ones were.
yeah. All right. So WJK, don't listen to Boomer. Like when he says Pez, it's not. It's literally
come on.
literally less of
No,
that.
I didn't mean it.
He did actually.
Fred brought out a good point. It's a little chalky.
I didn't mean it.
It's a little chalkiness to it. I mean, I'm talking
He's
about.
not. Boomer. Boom's boom, but he's not. Boom. I mean.
No, it's like a little light. It's like a little light boom.
I think it's a light boom. Yeah, I think I get a light boom.
it's like a
with
light
Pez.
boom.
I get a chalky Pez light boom.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Are you done?
Yeah, it's
Are you?
it's a very light. It is a light. It's a light boom.
Jeez.
So
I can get this at
WJK.
home. I don't need
So
it from you.
yeah.
I can get it overhead.
if we're talking,
Why do you think I'm
Flintstones, then
like-
it's thicker.
Yeah.
You know.
The cough drop.
Oh, cough drop.
Yeah.
So that's
That's
that's always one thing is trying to stay away from like medicinal cherry notes.
Yeah.
It is. There's no syrup. There's no cough syrup notes in here at all. There's fresh cherry.
Yeah.
There's an element of tea,
Yes.
but there's also the holy trinity of the baking spices that kind of comes
Yeah.
through.
That's what
Yeah.
gets me. And then on the palate too, there's not a lot of creativity. It's
No.
just those baking spices kind of shine through. The rye shines through. That's a barrel.
You still get rye whiskey in here. I mean, you still
Yeah,
get the corn
you
whiskey.
still
You
get
still get
that.
the corn. It's still by
Yes,
itself.
Yeah.
The nice thing about corn whiskey is that people are like, well, I don't even know what that means. And I said, well, think about a canvas. This canvas isn't white. Okay.
Right.
It's tan, and you can paint beautiful colors all over this canvas. And this is just one of the colors you can
Beautiful
paint.
primer
Yeah.
coat.
Yep. It's a great primer color. That's one of those 72 versions of tan.
Yes.
Okay.
I completely agree.
I like that. I like that it's different. I like that it's something different and like folly. What do you think, Jason? Like, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's like fall candle. It's like a fall candle in a glass.
I love that.
Cherry
So
pie
much
filling.
spice.
Cherry pie
Yeah,
filling.
There's so much spice to it too. Like I thought it was. I said
Is
it's
it,
a
do you
rock.
do you prefer the cherry over the orange?
That's funny. Yeah.
But you get all that spice. You think it's a rock.
I don't know, man. It's
You know what you
I'm
said?
going back and forth between those two now.
I'm leaning towards the orange.
You're leaning more towards the orange.
This is good though.
This is so good.
They're both interesting. I haven't
Yeah,
tried
yeah,
anything
they're different. I mean,
like
Nothing like this.
there's probably not many people who've had anything like this, other than like who want to like barrel cocktails.
Sure. I was
You know,
going
and
to
that's
say
probably about the closest thing you're gonna get.
that would be
you know?
great in a cocktail.
I tried something. That
You don't even need a cocktail. You
No,
already have
you
one.
got
but
one, but still.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd
Yeah,
want
it-
this in a
it wasn't-
cocktail.
Put
To
it
be
on a-
honest.
on
I
a
don't know
rack.
what you
Yeah.
would.
The nice thing about
Like
this
the-
is put this
Yeah.
30
Yeah.
minutes before you drink it. You throw it in the freezer.
You like
Just get it
that?
all chilled
yeah.
out.
Check
I can
back
see
over
that.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
We're
ice
thinking
it.
of-
Thicken it up a little bit. Yeah.
It was good.
Okay.
It was interesting. It wasn't like
It wasn't
mind blowing.
Yeah, it wasn't go fine.
You know what,
Yeah.
too?
But
Doesn't drink like the proof.
Yeah, that's
This doesn't
gonna
drink
be
like
up there.
115.
Yeah,
that's gonna
no.
be up there. The one
This
last
is- this
one of the
is
last
good.
ones we did was 122 proof. And it
Really?
just made it drink like it's like 100.
Yeah, this is like dangerously easy to drink. You know,
Yeah.
it's sweet, it's high proof. I mean, like maybe that's a good combo if that's what you're going for, you know, but like it doesn't drink like 120 plus proof.
The
That's
big
for
thing
sure.
about it is when you have that much aromatic, like from the bitters finish with so much aromatic in it, your palate is so activated when you drink it.
Yeah.
And so your juices are flowing, you're proofing it down a little bit yourself, you're expecting flavors. It really, the finish primes you to receive high proof whiskey.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it gets
Mhm.
you in a way that's sneaky. You know, it wasn't intentional to do
Yeah.
that, but it does. It's a great, I love that.
Super fun.
I wonder what water would do to that. I mean, I know with it being 120
There's
proof,
some really simple shakes you can do. A couple
you know,
drops in
I
the
just
top.
want to. Can I have a little bit more of that one?
100%. It is right here.
Thank you, sir. I'm gonna try and just see what water, a little bit of water does to it. So, are you thinking the orange one versus the cherry? What do you think, Jason?
That's a cat.
Between the two finishes, I think I like the orange better. I think the cherry is just very, it's extremely potent.
Like just a little bit too much for you.
It's just too much for me. It's like drinking a candle.
No water.
No water.
Nope.
As the artist meant, right?
Boomer has spoken.
The orange one.
Boom the creed.
Yeah, I think the water like brings out even like more cherry in it. To be
It
honest,
does, but it just
Do you think it
flattens it out. No, it flattens it.
Kill that spice off.
Yeah. We need some
I
spice.
usually do this, Scott. I'm not. You don't usually add water or ice.
yeah. Neither do I. But all right. So all
This
right.
is the last one.
Did you get this?
No,
Josh?
not yet.
No.
I haven't got it. All right. So now we're on to all right. So Jason, we're gonna go to 3360. We're gonna go to last but definitely not least.
Far
So,
from least for sure. This another corn here. This will be sitting high again, somewhere in that 118 to 122 range. So this is our second Spaniard barrel. If you're familiar with the Spaniard, it is not a name that we came up with. We normally would not make cultural designations like that. It is literally a Spanish oak barrel, finished 100% corn whiskey, sitting at about that 9-year age mark. The joke itself came from not only the Spanish name, but if you're familiar with the movie Gladiator, Maximus Decimus Aurelius, undefeated in the what is it? It's the it's not the octagon. It's the not the Parthenon either. It's the Colosseum.
In the Colosseum.
Undefeated in the Colosseum. So
Colosseum.
it's like this was like the Gladiator of single barrels.
yeah.
But it's a 300-liter Spanish oak cask. It is charred and toasted. It is an irregular cask. The cask itself came to us from a broker in Kentucky. It was created for Fred Noe at Jim Beam when they were developing Legion over there. I think we do. When they were developing the Legion brand. So this was one of the woods that they were looking
way
at
down.
finishing Legion
Next to
in.
that Ezra Brooks.
Along like this is way pre-COVID, right? And they were looking at as a possible finishing cask using the Spanish oak, but they decided that Spanish oak was too bitter, acrid, paint, etc. To finish in. But you're also talking about Kentucky bourbon bean. Rickhouse is painted black at the best place in the world to age young bourbon in. So you're talking about a very acidic whiskey already, and you're talking about a wood that loves to give tannin. Whereas the 100% corn whiskey that we have needs tannin so badly, so badly. And that's why there's such a good match. And so the funny thing about it is, after we won our double gold at San Francisco World Spirits Expo on this one, we called ISC and we offered anything to get more. I mean, we offered to get more wood. We buy the wood, we bring it over. We buy hundreds of barrels, we buy thousands of barrels. What do we need to commit to? And because of the Noe family's insistence that this is absolute trash, Brad Boswell, who's the owner of ISC and KBB and these people that made these barrels, and said, we're not doing this ever again, ever. It wasn't worth our time. It was too expensive. We'll never make another Spanish oak cask. And so they will not make us more. All of the casks went to the brewing world. None of them went to the distilling world. So we're the only people with this cask in the distilling world, and we can't find more. So this was the second quote-unquote Spaniard from here. It's our second finish. Our first finish was a little shy on 9 months, and that's the one that took the double gold. This one's coming up on a year, and we'll probably take it out in about a month or two. And we expect some pretty high marks in San Francisco for the brand this year.
I knew when I tasted. I'm like, I said to Sean, I'm like, whatever those guys don't want, like, we'll take whatever Illinois. I mean, give us a little bit of what Illinois has. Just creep it over into Wisconsin a little bit, So, what do you think, Jace?
Yeah, this is definitely my favorite so far. With Tay. This is really nice. It's sweet, spicy.
Yeah, it's very like
my
buttery,
question
creamy.
is it his favorite corn?
Is this was your
favorite overall?
Your favorite overall?
Between this and the second rye we had, those are my two favorite.
Yeah.
That's just about ready to go, too.
Mm-hmm.
It's just such a well-developed whiskey. There's so much there.
Somebody pours you that blind. Do you tell them that's corn whiskey?
No.
Can you pick that up?
No.
Not
Did you ever be able to tell us what this is?
No.
What did you think it was? Bourbon or?
Good.
Bourbon.
It technically is. I mean,
I mean, again, I would default to like a finish because it's not a bourbon profile, it's not a rye profile. So anytime you deviate from that, like I think finish like right away, like there's something that's there.
This may be like the cigar bourbon in my opinion.
But yeah, I could see
It's
like
an Amberana.
like I was saying before, like a cigar blend of some sort, like
It's like a muted Amberana almost.
yeah, like that's what I was thinking. Like when I first tried it, I said to Sean, I'm like, oh, this is like an Amberana barrel or something. It's something different and unique.
Sure.
So
The funniest thing is when Amin tried this, and Amin's a really, really close friend of mine. And so I'm not talking shit behind his back. I'm talking shit to his fucking face.
yeah.
But him, and it was a couple of other buddies were in here too. Wes was fucking in here.
Yeah.
Fucking Chad was fucking
Chad
in
was
here. And they all fucking tried it. And they all have, their palates are fucking identical. Chad's probably on here right now. I love you, Chad. But they all really like very similar things. And they took it, tried it, looked at each other, looked at me, they're like, oh, no, pain, no. And I was just thinking in my head,
Really?
Yep.
perfect. I was like,
And we got it.
Really?
Then we're
we'll
okay.
keep this for us.
Really? So
It's just not
they didn't dig that.
no, it's not up on Amin. He got the shot at the first one too, and just it's not up his alley. It's just not what he's like.
Yeah.
You know, Amin's really looking for traditional. He likes out there stuff, but for his bourbons, he wants traditional bourbon.
Okay.
For his ryes, he wants traditional ryes. He's cool with us really playing around in the corns, but he wants things that are just. He wants different things. You know what I mean? But to them, it was all paint. You know, and then but like I taste it, I'm like, I get cedar, I get tobacco. I get
Yeah,
all these
it's all of that. It's all over the
Yeah,
place.
it's just great.
And I wonder if this would be a whiskey like after it's bottled and it opens up, you'll get even more from
I
it.
think
Like,
you get
it
it.
feels like it'll.
It
Yeah.
does, Jerry. It'll definitely the next
Yeah.
more comes out and things just get
Yeah.
going. in
So
there.
are you pulling spice out of the wood as well?
So the wood is giving almost all of the spice.
Okay, because
Um,
this is a bourbon.
It's crazy.
Plain
It is.
and
It is. It's wild. It is. It
Drinks
is-
like a bourbon.
It drinks just like one. Yeah.
The
The
first-
first.
Well, yeah,
Form,
I'm just saying, right. You can't
Drinks
call
like a
it-
bourbon.
Right.
Yeah.
The first Spaniard that we did, the original Spanish oak finish that we did last year, that was legally a bourbon. That was legally a 9-month-old bourbon that we had made out of a 7-year-old corn whiskey. And like when you think about that, like that's kind of one of the things that like Sean brings up quite a bit that I really have a lot of fun with is like the standards of identity are fucking stupid. They just are. They're dumb. And like there's elements of it of like I get that like we needed to protect consumers a long time ago, but like just because you finish a straight bourbon is doesn't mean it's not a straight
It's got
bourbon.
great like balance.
You know, there's
Like,
all
you can
these
see,
things.
you can
Like,
really
there's all these
see
stupid.
on
So I could take the same product. I could take a Limousine Rye blend that I did. If everything was in new cooperage, I could release it as a straight rye. I could release it as a whiskey from a rye mash. I could release it as a DSS.
Yeah.
I could release it as whiskey. I could release it as whiskey. I mean, there's 7 different things that I could bottle the exact same distillate. If it was, and let's say it was bourbon. Let's say I had a bourbon. Let's say that. I mean, the ryes that you taste, 9.6 and 9.7 are a great example. Both those are technically, what is that? 1 year and 1 year and 3-month-old straight ryes that we made out of 6-year-old rye. That's so stupid. Like that's just stupid. It's rye whiskey. It's all rye
That's
whiskey.
what I said before. You're crazy.
Okay.
There's an element to that.
No, but I'm just saying.
Definitely. At least
But
it's
no.
not the truth.
But I appreciate what you've got here on paper as opposed to what you've got. I mean, the glasses are just phenomenal. You got great stuff.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
I'm not just saying it because I'm here. It's really freaking good.
You wouldn't be here if it wasn't good. You know.
Talk
Did you
to
add
me.
water? Scott, did you add water?
I did not.
3356, 3360.
No, I'm gonna.
Do you want
try
to and tell me what you think?
Yeah, let's see what we got.
That's killer.
You get a couple drops, and I think it would take
We
it.
have 2 more.
At 118 to
regular
122, I'll
barrels.
take it.
We have the Spanish oak cast, which is absolutely crazy. We have if you guys want to pop back there after this, we can. We have a 16-year-old light whiskey finishing in cognac cast, which is absolutely stellar. I mean, it's out of this world.
Hey, did you hear that?
Huh?
See what he's missing.
Wish you were here.
Did you hear that? What was a 16-year-old corn whiskey finish in a cognac
It's
cask?
actually, so almost everyone else that sells the light whiskey that's over 10 years old, all of theirs is the 99.1%
Yeah.
corn mash bill. Ours is the 21% rye bourbon mash bill. So
Really?
we have 21% rye bourbon mash light whiskey at 16 years old, aged in a cognac cask. It's been there for a year now.
What do you think of that?
Sounds good on paper. That's for damn sure.
It sounds pretty damn delicious, is what it sounds like. I'll do some vetting.
Yeah.
I'll do some vetting here shortly.
Yeah,
so
you might need
The
to do. You
last
might
one
need
we
to do
had
some
was a
quality
500
control, Scott.
Your chestnut puncheon. So it's chestnut wood. It's
Really?
it's crazy. And it's
yeah,
full-
you got some crazy wood barrels.
that's our kind of our thing is the idea that
It's the
like
cooperage in that.
yeah, I mean the only rule is put it in a barrel.
Yeah,
Well, let's fucking find how many barrels we can get.
yeah.
And that's what I can't explain in a sentence what we're doing here. You have to sit with me and try it. Because this is what we're looking to do. You know,
With that Spanish wood, like roughly, if we're splitting a barrel with someone, like what are we talking about yield wise, roughly?
I mean the shit. I mean that's 300-liter cask. I mean that's almost 120 gallons. I mean it's huge. It's
So I mean, we're talking
We can-
250
Hey,
bottles.
Scott. Hey, Scott. We got Nancy Fraley's in the chat.
What is that?
Say that again.
Nancy Fraley's in the chat. Say hi.
Oh, Nancy Fraley's in the chat.
Oh hey Nancy, how you doing?
How's it going, Nance?
Hey Nance, I was with Joe the other day. He told me I need to get on cleaning my teeth. I appreciate the tip. We love Nancy. I've taken nosy
She's one
calls
of the
a few
best.
times.
She's a genius. She's like, literally
She
one of the
Four
best.
drops is totally different.
She didn't get
Can you
Seattle.
pass me the
No.
bottle? I wanna put mine-
Yeah, I was just with Joe Henry the other week, and they blended. They blend together, and Joe just asked me out of nowhere. He's like, "Hey, man, like, what do you go to like the dentist?" And I was like, "You know, I gotta be frank, Joe. I actually have kind of an irrational fear of pickles, doctors, and dentists. That's serious." And he's like, "No, he's like, dude, you have to go." He's like, "You taste the amount of whiskey that you taste." He's like, "Nancy had shared with me that I need to go." And he's like, "Because I love you, I want you to go." And so I got that advice on Sunday. So thank you, Nancy, because I'm scheduling an appointment. I'm going to take advantage of the dentist appointment that I can take through my insurance that I'm absolutely terrified to go to.
All right, so Nancy has prompted Nick to actually go to the dentist. So
That's a solid input.
I mean, if there's something that like has been like learned tonight, I mean, now Nick.
Tannen's acid.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what he was saying to me. Tannin fuck you up.
So Scott, did you try it with a couple drops?
I did. I didn't like it as much. I
You
think no.
I thought it opened it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
liked it.
I mean, I
Two
tend,
different animals. I like.
I tend not to,
Mhm.
but I mean, that's
Did
you know
like it?
me.
No.
But
Oh,
I mean, I loved it just how it is
Yep.
on its own.
I
And
do
again, you know,
Does it drink like 118?
no, it doesn't. I mean, really, if you're really thinking about it, it's maybe in that 105, 107 ish, maybe.
Maybe.
You know,
Arrow, man.
but it's, I mean, that. So all right. So with the Spanish, that's Spanish oak, right?
Yeah.
Spanish oak. So it's a pretty good yield. So Jason, we'd have a fair amount of bottles of those. Like that's probably over 200, right? I mean,
Let me see.
roughly. I mean, probably minimum if it. So we'd have a fair amount of like a kind of almost like a cigar blend, honestly.
Yeah, we
For
can
the, for the last one, that 3360.
46 packs of that.
How many?
You can probably
30
do 30 or
30-ish?
40.
Yeah, so 30 or 46 packs. So we're talking about 210 to 240 roughly.
For the for that 3360.
Yeah.
Well, 30. You're talking 180 to 240.
Yeah, 180 to 240 roughly. So, you know, average 210.
And it's sitting in the cask for how much longer?
How much longer do you think it needs?
Not that much longer.
Not-
It'll be dumped before January 15th. I bet.
Yeah, so
I bet you I dump it by December 15th.
so they'd probably basically dump it in a month. So
Yeah, that one
months
is a
from
definite.
today.
That one's a definite winner. That is the star of the show right there. That's delicious.
Yeah, I mean it's like good now. So I mean it's not going to get like worse in a month. I mean it's not going to get worse, and if it does change, maybe marginally, you know, that it changes or improves. So
hey,
but-
Jason, I'll put Boomer on a sticker. It's good, bro.
It's good, bro. Boomer said
It's
it.
good, bro. That's what we'll name it. It's good, bro.
how'd you like a sticker like that on a bottle? All right, so where are we leaning? So we'll go taste that cognac finished whiskey here shortly too. But so in terms of where we're at right now, Like I had, that's what I had check mark as well. So I had the second one and the last one that we tasted, like that second Limousine Rye. Where are you at with that one?
Yeah, those are my two favorites were 6397, which was the second rye, and
Yeah.
the 3360, which is the one we just talked about. Those are the two standouts right there.
Which ones?
All right. So yeah, this was not 3356. So that last
This
one
one?
we had. So the
Yeah, I like
it
this
was
is my
the
favorite.
six.
Yeah.
Sorry. So 639.
This
So
is-
6397, and then the Spanish Oak one. That's where we're at right now, roughly, right?
Yep, I agree.
Are you good with that?
Yeah.
All right. So what are we talking about? Like yield roughly for 6397.
1697 will probably be around 25 cases, 20, 25.
All right. So 25 times 6. So math. What is that?
150.
150. About 150 bottles of 6397.
Oh, wow, that's a lot. Okay.
What do you think?
And how long would it be? What's the bottle time and all that stuff? Well, I mean, we could talk about that offline, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we can talk a little bit more about that. We know for sure we want the Spanish Oak, right? So we're into that 210 on average bottles. We know we want that, right?
Yeah.
All right. So we know we want that. So all right, well we can chat a little bit more about that offline. So we're already a little bit over an hour, so I guess I want to say thanks to everybody in the chat right now. So thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. More importantly, thanks for Dancing Goat for hosting us tonight. So Nick and Fred. So we appreciate everything that these guys have done. So thank you guys for allowing us the opportunity to select some different unique whiskeys. It's kind of, it's something that Jason and I have kind of hung our hat on, is wanting to be able to provide something that's slightly different, unique. And I think we're definitely bringing that. So thanks, guys.
Cheers, Jason.
All right. Cheers, guys.
All right. So guys, everybody, and then thanks to Boomer and Josh. All right. So we'll do that. We'll wrap her up, and we'll see everybody next week at some point. But thanks everybody for joining in tonight. And thanks for Dancing Goat for hosting us tonight. So guys, thanks. We'll chat later. See you guys.
Cheers. Thank
Cheers.
you.
Cheers.